Independent Cinema here with
the QB999.
Thank you very much, sir. Here to bring you the latest in video game reviews. Today we'll be talking about Alan Wake.
Now, this is a new subset of video games that have been coming out recently. It's like a new subset of horror. It's a psychological thriller. And honestly, I think it's overtaken the horror genre as the main attraction.
For right now, yeah. But as what you were saying, it's really kind of like not anything really new. Because FMV games did it a lot in the 90s. But this certainly did it the best.
This has been one of the better attempts at it.
This is honestly like one of the best horror games that I have played in a long time. Probably since Condemned 1.
Now, I'm pretty sure everyone's told you the same thing. The gameplay is a little repetitive with how you fight enemies, because they're all basically the same, and they all just use the same strategy. Point light at them, shoot them, they die.
If you haven't played the game, basically, the enemies are covered in darkness. The entire game, you're fighting this entity.
You're fighting the Heartless.
Sure, why not? And you're one keyblade short. So you're fighting this darkness, this sentient darkness, and it's possessing people and objects. So they're covered in darkness. In order to hurt them, you have to shine light on them, which will then remove the darkness. Then you can shoot them. Or in the case of objects, you just shine the light on them and they'll just die.
Now, this game probably has one of the best storytelling ever.
Yeah.
Just the way it goes through the game. It starts off, you're a writer who goes to this town to try and relax, go up and clear your head, you're having a bunch of...
Very Stephen King-esque. This pays homage to a lot of Stephen King novels, and in fact, it even mentions a lot of other like horror writers, so like H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're a writer that he has writer's block. So him and his wife go out on this vacation retreat, but this darkness wants him...
Honestly, if you want to know what the game is about, go on YouTube, look up Alan Wake, look up Old Gods of Asgard, and for the song The Poet and the Muse. Everything you need to know is right there in that song.
And it's a good song, too.
And that's another awesome thing about this game, is the soundtrack is amazing. Especially at one particular part in the game where you're on a rock and roll stage at a farm, using the pyrotechnics to fight off the enemies. Yeah, you might say it stole from Left 4 Dead 2.
But this game was in development for 5 years.
So technically that came out way before Left 4 Dead 2, and also this game did it better, because you're actually using the lights and the pyrotechnics really against the enemies.
I wouldn't say it's better, but it is certainly really badass, considering that the two like old rock stars, one his name is Thor, and the other one's like Odin.
Who comes around with a small toy hammer.
Yeah. It's just awesome. In that song they play too, the Gods of Old or something like that, is freaking amazing. Check that out. Check that one out too. A lot of great humor in it. Like Alan Wake's like sidekick,
the comedy relief, Barry.
Barry, yeah, his name's Barry. I couldn't think of his name.
Of course, he's the typical little fat chubby guy. He's like just doesn't know what the hell's going on. But he's still, you know what? He's there for comic relief, and he plays his part well.
Yeah, there's one particular moment, and I'm sorry there's so many spoilers in this, but you guys just play the game. Barry, he like decks himself out in like Christmas lights. He has this huge flashlight. He has a miner's hat and a flare gun. He's like, anything I point at dies.
Everything I look at dies. It's like my flaming eye of Mordor.
Then like a few seconds go by and he's like, I can't believe I just said that.
So overall, all the characters are really likable. I mean, I would say they're very stereotypical, but they're all...
Well, the fat sidekick guy is kind of a stereotype. Yeah. But who cares, because it's done so well. I don't mind stereotype as long as it's done well. The one complaint I do have about this game, you know, like the repetitiveness that you had mentioned, really didn't bother me. But what did bother me is the voice acting, and when the characters talk, their mouth movements doesn't match up to what's being said.
That's sometimes, I know it's a difficult part of the process, but that's something that when you have 5 years of development, You would hope that's something that you can get through.
It's 2010. Shit like that don't cut it no more.
Not unless it's like Final Fantasy 13, where you're trying to translate dialogue from a whole nother language. Then it's a little bit tougher, but this was an American game.
This is an American game by an American studio. Shit like that don't cut it no more. This is the big boys. You need to work that shit out if you're going to release it.
Now, also, I would say, yeah, it's a psychological thrill, but it's not really one that has made me jump out of my seat.
Yeah, it's not scary. It's just a really well-told story.
The best parts of this game are the soundtrack and the story. That alone is well worth playing.
And the characters.
Also, the characters, and also I'll say this, the atmosphere, though, is really well done.
Yeah, it's very atmospheric. And one thing that's really cool, a neat little idea they had, is... So Alan Wake wrote this story, and it's all coming true. And as you progress through the game, you find pages to the story. Sometimes you find it in, like, future chapters of the game, because it's episodic.
Yeah. It kind of works like a TV show. Like, after you beat a chapter... Then, when you start the next one, it'll say, like, previously on Alan Wake, and it'll recap what happened in the previous chapter. Yeah. It's actually kind of an interesting way to do it.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I think there's one other game that kind of did it like that, but this definitely did a lot better. Anything else you want to, like...
Play it. And also, the fact that you may not be too happy with how it ends... Because it kind of ends on a cliffhanger, but the DLC is actually one of the few games that actually adds to the game.
Yeah, the story is going to be finished through DLC.
There's two ones. One is already out. Another one is coming out soon.
I think it comes out at the end of September,
yeah.
I believe, or in October. But yeah, so if you weren't satisfied with the total package, I don't know why you wouldn't, because it's good. You're going to get more through DLC, and the first one's free if you buy the game. If you get it used, you're not going to get it for free. Sorry, guys.
But even then, the game's not that much anymore right now.
It's $40 now. Because this game, unfortunately, didn't sell well, so it's going down in price. So it's even better, it's even more bang for your buck.
Yeah.
To me, it is. I'm definitely going to pick it up.
Yeah, he just borrowed it from me, but definitely this is one to pick up and play through.
This is a good game, and it was. I was honestly taken aback because I didn't think it was going to be that well because I read a lot of the reviews.
Everyone's saying the same things basically. It's an okay game, just there was a lot to work on, but I was also taken aback by how much I enjoyed it.
Yeah, so that's Alan Wake, guys, and if you don't like it,
okay.
Oh.